Good evening, everyone. It's Jason Grant again, and it's another episode of Women in Blockchain. And today I have with me Taisiya Kudashkina. And she has been kind enough to speak to us about Finolog ICO, which I'm sure is going to be a very interesting conversation to discuss and see what this is all about. Now, I had the pleasure of meeting Taisiya at Crypto Investor Show VIP after party. And it was amazing to have a chat and find out a little bit about this. So I'm in a slightly unfair advantage position here to know a little bit about this, but not enough. So Taisiya, just please introduce yourself for everybody and tell us, who you are and what you're doing.
Hey, nice to meet you, Jason. Thanks for inviting me. First of all, I really appreciate the chance to speak. Of course, I'm absolutely thrilled to talk about my project because this is something which takes up my mind right now. So, what we do and what I'm working at right now and currently, we have created a financial performance rating based on which we are creating an investment platform or ecosystem. So we basically create a platform where investors, all types of investors like creditors or venture capitalists or banks, they meet entrepreneurs. They meet people who are in the need of money, small and medium-sized businesses.
Amazing. And so tell us a little bit about the people, the team that's part of the Finolog movement, so to speak.
So let's maybe start with myself, with my story, right? All right. So and then I kind of gradually will talk about the other team. Team. So my background is actually in technology, right? As everybody else is here, mostly like in ICOs. And I used to have a company, and I still have it. It's called Web Sarafan, and I have a huge community of entrepreneurs in Russia. It's like the biggest and the most active community on Facebook. It's the biggest group on Facebook for entrepreneurs. Like in total, I have more than 100,000 people in my community in Russian for entrepreneurs. It's mostly small and medium-sized businesses who are actively talking, who are actively discussing their problems, and I'm completely and profoundly proud of myself as being a part of this community and as being like an organizer of it. And so I this is a brand. It's called Web Sarafan. So that's my company, which I've been doing and I've been working for about 3 years right now. And since I'm into those conversations, and since I know their problems, and since I know what kind of in their minds, I always see what's hot for them now, what are their pains, and it appeared to me that like recently, especially like maybe last year or two, people started talking more and more about the pain of getting money, right? In order for business to jump, in order for business to kind of do a loop, right? Like if you want to get bigger, you need leverage, you need money, you need to go and get money either from venture capitalists or from, I don't know, lenders or from banks, from whoever. Like, but when business have found their product, when business have done their customer development and they know their kind of path, that's the next natural step, right? You kind of get more money in order to get even more money. And so like people there in the group in Facebook, they're always discussing this issue that right now, in order to get money, they either have to go to the bank and then they spend months or maybe 5 to 6 months in Russia, and they get like 70 or 60% of rejection, right? Mostly, even if they kind of spent 6 months filling up like tons of papers and they still get rejections, or they have to go and ask for money from venture capitalists, which are kind of not even better, because like in order to get money from venture capitalists, you know how it's done, right? You have to go and pitch, you have to go to conferences, you have to go kind of go and sell your idea. And entrepreneurs, especially small businesses, they're not really good in selling themselves. Like real good entrepreneurs who are doing nice businesses, they're not really well in pitching themselves and getting all those presentations. So I kind of saw this problem, and we've been discussing it like recently, and I actually have done multiple interviews with entrepreneurs trying to understand how big this problem is. And this problem is like in Russia, not only in Russia, it's like in United States and in Asia, it's everywhere. This problem is freaking global. And the point is like that the other side, like, okay, this is the side of entrepreneurs. I know what their pains are. But then the other side, like banks and venture capitalists, I understand themselves as well, because they don't have a normal scoring kind of system which allows them to understand who are you, right? You can come and you say, okay, I'm a good entrepreneur. I have like, I don't know, good idea and I can create business, give me some money. But then I'm as a bank, I don't know anything about you. I don't know your story. I don't know your financial performance. I don't know if you're good or bad with money previously. I don't know if you've had bankruptcies in your history, right? I don't know how good or bad financially were your previous companies. And that's why they are giving so much rejections, because they're kind of freaking scared to give like money to some unknown person. And so we kind of started working this out, and then I united with the team, which is currently working in Russia, and it's been on the market for more than 3 years. It's a totally technical team which already has created a SaaS company as a service business, which does cash accounting system. So what they do currently is that entrepreneurs come to their platform, they upload their data, and then they give them financial advices, like how to manage your money, how to do it better, how to do with your ROI, how to work with your profits to make it better. So we kind of united and created a rating of your financial performance. And right now, a person can come to the platform, he gets the rating, and this rating will be sent to those parties, whoever has money. And so right now, instead of seeing an unknown person, they see a person who is kind of, well, we know something about you. We know that you used to have 3 companies. One was good, one was okay, another one died, and we know all your financial story. And so right now we can be pretty sure who are we talking with, and we can come up with a good solution. So but pretty much I'm on the community side, right? I'm on the communication side. I'm the team, and I'm a community director in the team, because I have a large and huge base of followers in Russia, not globally. This project is global, but we start from Russia, of course. We have followers and lovers, I would say. I have lovers, seriously, because I have a podcast, and I have a podcast which is on top 5 on iTunes on business category. So I kind of like, I'm lovable by people, and so I can talk with them and kind of spread out the idea. And on my back, I have a technical team, like, I don't know, 5 to 7 developers who are heavily technically engraved in all this shit. And so I don't have to care about it. I just know that they're going to do their job correctly, and I just need to vocalize it.
Awesome. That's great. I just love the way you kind of, come across. Your energy is absolutely perfect. And if anything, I'm learning in this conversation as to how to pick up some of that kind of tone, if I can say. So yeah, tell me a little bit about then how this is going to work in terms of the Finolog process in the product. What, in perfect world scenario, what do entrepreneurs and businesses do through the system?
So it's like we understand, as I already explained to you, right, that the current funds allocation market is insufficient, right? The often funds are provided to those who can make presentations, right, who can talk and who can sell, not to those who are efficient. And so our goal is kind of change this, like in a global perspective, right? Not right now. Okay, we start with small. We will start working with banks, for instance, right? We will start integrating with banks, providing them with this rating, so to kind of make them job easier, right? Right now, it's the biggest market right now, the market for banks, right? Banks are giving loans to business owners, and it's like normal, adequate, very understandable business right now, and they know and understand business model. So this is how we start. We'll start with these parties. We'll start kind of with these 2 parties, entrepreneurs versus banks. We as an entrepreneur, he comes to our platform, uploads his data, financial data. It's done automatically because we have an API based system which kind of integrates integrates data from the bank within one click. So he uploads all the data from the banks, and it doesn't even matter if he has 2 or 3 or 5 companies, and it doesn't even matter if his companies are from different countries. It doesn't matter. We can all upload it, and we can analyze it, and we come up with the rating. It's like integral rating. Basically, it says, for instance, okay, this person is 7 out of 10, or like this person is 2 out of 10. He's bad with his money. He couldn't manage it. His profits were bad. Like his company was bankruptcy. Or like instead, he can be perfect and he's good. And so you can trust him because he knows how to manage his money and he knows how to make business, right? So he gets this financial rating where we can describe profitability of his own funds, profitability of his borrowed funds, profitability of investment funds. We get this. Also, we want to provide the rating among the same kind of businesses. Like, for instance, we can say he is in the top 10% earnings among SaaS services in Russia. Or like this person, his company is in a top 30% marginality among SaaS businesses in Russia. Or his company is like in a top 30% ROI among SaaS businesses in Russia. So we can compare it. So we know like how is his performance like in comparison with the other ones. So he gets this rating. Our algorithm assesses entrepreneurs and assigns this financial performance rating. And basically, we kind of send it, right? We kind of send this to banks, peer-to-peer platform, funds, private investors. They got this information, and the entrepreneur gets pre-approved offers back, right? And so we kind of think that the rejection rate will drop from 70% to maybe 25% because they know already a lot of them. And so instead of running around like crazy rabbit and filling out all those freaking papers, spending 3 to 6 months and getting 70% of rejection rate, he gets pre-approved offers all in one place where he can compare it, of course, one to another one, right? If this offer from this bank is better from that one, right? And so like we kind of this is how will this ecosystem work, and I hope that everybody will win in this situation.
Awesome. So it's a little bit like manifesting magic money in a sense, as some of the Instagram posts and YouTube videos would talk about. And I think this is where it's super cool with the blockchain technology. This is becoming more and more possible and streamlined in the sense that, like, for every type of loan or a fundraise, companies are having to provide the same type of information. And that process of filling in the forms doesn't have to be so manual. And I've been speaking to people about how to build a company, one has to at some point raise money, but that process of raising money isn't really doing business. You're having to spend a lot of time as a founder spending time on raising money, while actually your core business is to serve the customer. So I think that's very, very welcome as an initiative. Any process that's simplifying the process of raising money while making it more trustworthy and streamlined and effective and repeatable. So that's where I was like really interested to know, what you're doing. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, I actually wanted to add that both of us, both of our founders, myself included, and the other founder from Finolog, we both have this experience of raising money through traditional venture investment. Hello, are you here? Hello. Am I?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. So we kind of both have this experience not from the banks. We kind of raised money from regular venture investors. Like I raised more than $3 million 6 years ago for my first business, and I freaking know how hard is this. How exhausting is this? When I was then counting back, I was kind of trying to calculate how many people I went through just to get those money. You basically have to kind of talk. I spent more than 6 months going and pitching and meeting with investors. I talked with more than 50 funds, 50 people in order to get money. And okay, I'm very good communicator, as you see, right? I am a good communicator. That's my That's my best skill, you know. And still I had to go through 50 different investors and done numerous rounds and circles and talks and speeches and pitches and blah 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 and interviews and stuff. And all this time my business was kind of put on the back, you know, because you can't do both. Like when you start your fundraising, you kind of stop everything else, right? You agree with that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's off-putting. It's like, you know, kicks you out of your product development and customer service processes.
Yeah, so and that's why we kind of decided why should it be so hard, you know? Like, of course, I understand investors as well because they have to trust to unknown persons. They don't know anything about you, right? You basically have to persuade them at this moment. They haven't seen you before, and then you're right here and you're telling them those dreams, which they have to kind of trust to believe. And then if you provide them with the financial information, with your financial performance and with your habits, right? It's a completely different picture.
Totally. And one thing that I've found as well is a weird one, right? Because back in the day when I didn't have much experience, people would say we're not ready to work with you because, you know, we don't know what you are able to do, etc., etc. And then I realized that, you know, I have to do amazing work and put in that track record to be able to, in the future, avoid those kind of conversations and just be able to prove that I'm a worthwhile person to work with. And then I did all sorts of amazing and incredible projects and success stories and so on. And there's always seems to be another thing of trust that's required, you know, prove this, prove that, prove this, prove that, prove. And it's like, God, how long are we going to live in this world where you're constantly having to prove something to other people? It's like, that's not really where most of our energy ought to be going. Most of our energy ought to be going in doing things that are valuable, not proving that we're trustworthy.
Totally. And then you have to kind of also, that's the issue that, like, first of all, as I already told, you have to be an outgoing person, right? Like, in order to do that, you have to build up your own personal brand on social networks, right? You have to kind of work on Facebook or on Telegram. You have to build up your followers, right? Okay, it's maybe easier for me now because I have 25,000 followers on Facebook, but I've spent 2.5 fucking years in order to get those followers. And when I changed the niche, right? I used to be in one niche. I used to be in info business, right? My current business is in info business. We create educational programs for entrepreneurs. And right now I'm changing my direction and I'm kind of getting into crypto space right now. And I have no reputation whatsoever. And it's the same idea as you said. I again have to prove myself. And I go to the conferences and I say to them, hey guys, I have something to say. I want to share my message. Let me speak. And they say, who are you? You're nobody. Nobody knows you at this point, right?
True. And so on that point, like, I want to ask you a question directly because I think this is generally useful for everyone to know. Like, what are your, I hate the word tips, but like, what's your advice on, okay, you're building personal brand, you're building followers and in social networks, etc. But what other advice do you have for people to kind of rapidly build trust with others?
Well, I know that's so great. You know, like, I love it. It's just like, I know how to get into this new industry because I have enough experience, which I can share with people right now. Because like when I start talking with somebody, they're like, oh my God, you know how to build followers on social networks. Yes, I do. So this is what I can share with you right now. So you, like, let me kind of specify the question. You're actually asking for founders of the companies who are going for an ICOs, right? That's your question, how to, or like, in general for entrepreneurs?
Well, I think there is the question is in general, but then maybe more specific to ICOs.
Yeah, of course. I love talking about this. You see, I can talk about it forever. So first of all, you have to kind of be like, this is the world where it changed, right? Like, you cannot be behind the curtain anymore. It's impossible, right? Because of the marketing, which has changed dramatically, and because of the aggressive marketing everywhere, like we, as per statistics, we are bombarded with marketing, direct marketing messages, I don't know, like more than 50 times per day now. So there is no trust for marketing, for advertisement anymore. People do not trust ads anymore. The only thing which they trust right now is people. So people buy from people right now, right? That's like the main postulate which you have to kind of understand and then work out for that position. People buy from people, and it doesn't matter what you do. Either you are doing, I don't know, trains and like, I don't know, big factories. It doesn't matter. Even if they buy tons of, I don't know, like 10 trains, they still buy it from some person who is selling them, right? Or you are selling shoes on the street. It's the same. If you're smiling to a person and providing service and they know something about you, they will buy from you. Actually, we are doing buying choices every day, right? Like we kind of, I don't know, kind of every hour or so thinking, what should I buy? I should buy this coffee or this brand of coffee. I should buy, I don't know, this brand of blouse or that brand, right? We are doing those choices every day. And if we know the person, if we know somebody who's staying behind the brand, it's the first thing which kind of comes up in our mind. And so in order to build the trust, you have to get out. You have to get out from I don't know where you're sitting, from your office, and start talking to people. You have to build up the story. That's another, I don't know, term of today's marketing, which is called storytelling, right? You have to kind of start telling the stories. Like, remember, I told you the story at the beginning. I told you I have 100,000 people in my community, and those guys are struggling. And I'm such a nice person. I'm a hero now. I could hear their pain, and now I want to solve that pain with my next business, right? That's a story. It's called story. It's a hero who has some issues. Well, I don't know where I will fall down at that path yet. I hope not that bad, but I will kind of describe all that path. And that's what I do exactly right now. I'm on my profile on Facebook. I write every step. I write, okay, like in December when we started talking about it with my partner, I was like, okay, guys, I do not understand anything in crypto. Like, what do I do? Like, I kind of come up with a story. I told them, I'm a blonde, whatever, I'm kind of joking about it. I'm a blonde, like, I don't understand anything about crypto. Who can help me out? And then people would start, you can go talk to this person, or you can go to that conference, or like, what's your question? And then we were started talking, and like, this is how I build up the story. And then I describe every step. Right now, I wrote a post today on Facebook where I said, wow, guys, it's my first interview on English about my future global company. You know, and people are they kind of want to feel close to you, right? They want to feel kind of to be in the same story with you, and they comment and they participate. And then the next step which they will do is they will kind of give me their money or their ideas, or I don't know, their soul, whatever. So you kind of have to start talking about yourself and your business in stories. Okay.
Yeah, but the thing there is that, like, a lot of the time we talk about this all the time, like between myself and my team, and because in UK the storytelling marketing, like, UK is known for as a country that's invented what they call marketing innovation. So this idea of storytelling is there, like, all the time, and then it's really tricky to differentiate in the storytelling terms from one company to another, because, you know what, these people are like super professional storytellers. So unless something is like Hollywood level interest, it kind of doesn't resonate. So we're now having to differentiate on all sorts of different levels, even on the level of being. And it's kind of a quite esoteric type, you know, exploration, let's say. But the storytelling is, I'm always kind of in two minds about it. Like, sometimes it works. It depends who you're talking to as well. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't so much. And when we're speaking to, we find that like when we're speaking to like super achievers, okay, people who just like to go bum, 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 achieve, they like things like straight up in like bullet points, this, done. Okay, so that kind of takes away all the story fluff, and but it's tricky to find out like what kind of person you were talking to, and whether they prefer a story or straight up facts, or something that's kind of shocking them out of their state, you know, and things like that. So yeah. Okay, so tell me how you are. I mean, this is almost like an unfair question. How you're planning to grow this? You've got the 100,000 Facebook or community members, which is amazing, and I'd love to know more about how you built that, and you know, how are you going to grow this business?
Well, so let me first answer to that argument about that we are all storytellers right now, and it's really hard to differentiate, right? That's why I have to be authentic. That's the point, like, right? Don't be formalized. You kind of, that's what I'm kind of teaching my team every day. We were just talking about it yesterday. Like, they would come up with some email, and I would see this email, and I would talk to my editor. I'm like, hey, we are having a birthday like next month. My company, my Web Sarafan company, is going to be 3 years, and we were sending an announcement for our followers that it's going to be big birthday party, blah blah blah. And I got the email, and it's like so freaking formal. Like, okay, we're going to have a birthday. It's going to be on the date and blah blah. I'm like, hey, Nikita, are you talking like this with your friends? Like, you are sitting, like, for example, in cafeteria, and you're like saying, this, we are going to have a birthday. This is my official invitation. Like, I don't know, 500 people are going to be there, and this is the activities. He's like, no, I'm not talking like this to my friends. I'm like, so don't stop talking like this to, I don't know, friends who are in our subscription base, right? So that's the point. Be authentic. Like, I'm not shy. Like, I talk everything what I think. Seriously, I do not shy to or ashamed to fail. For instance, people like describing and participating and reading stories of failure, right? Or fuck ups. Oh, that's the best stories. Like when you describe some fuck ups, right? Like you can say, oh, I didn't do that, or like I was so tired and missed that, or I made this mistake and that mistake. And people are kind of thinking, okay, I'm not alone. That cheater, she's doing the same mistakes as I am. So you see, they kind of getting trusted. There is building loyalty and trust between them when they feel that they are like you are the same blood. So, okay, answer for your question would be yourself, be authentic. Okay, going back to your question of how am I going to build that? So, since I'm good and I know how to build communities, right? As I already told you, right? I've built one community of more than 100,000 people. I'm going to build community. So I have a big and great idea. And actually, it's not even a platform where we are creating a rating, financial performance rating, which is going to be sent to banks. We are creating an ecosystem. It's bigger. Like, I have a bigger idea, and that's what I'm going to translate, and that's what I'm going to vocalize. Actually, we want to fuck up the banks. At the end of our journey, we want to fuck up the banks. Banks are intermediaries which are not needed in this story, right? What needed to be done? What? Why are you laughing? You see right now?
No, I love your straight up honesty, you know, and directness.
So you see now, you understand right now how I build community, right? You are on my side already.
I have no other choice. You're not giving me any other choice, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's true. So, no, let me finish. So the point is that I want you as an entrepreneur come up to the platform, and I am a person, for example, I'm a business, I don't know, I'm a restaurant owner in London. Tell me the name of some area in London, some posh, good area.
Yeah, whatever. Chelsea, yeah.
Chelsea, okay. I have a restaurant in Chelsea. I'm a very successful entrepreneur, and I have some extra money to invest. You are a person who wants to open up a restaurant in Chelsea, right? So we come up to the platform, we kind of find each other on this platform. You see that there is another person. I see, oh wow, Jason is in Chelsea also, and he wants to open up a restaurant, and he has been very good with his finances in his previous businesses. So now I can loan him my money because I can trust him, right? So that's the end story. We don't even need banks or peer-to-peer platform. That's where those decentralization comes up and showing up, and that's where the blockchain is needed, right? Because we want to make this world better. And this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be building the communities the same way as I've built in Web Sarafan, the same way, just translating the idea, just kind of working with the pain, just talking to people, just explaining them my vision. So it's the same idea, basically. Well, as I am as a communicator, I'm going to do that. As of, if you want, I can talk to you about more formal stuff, right? As we are going to hire business developers in each and every country who are going to talk with banks first, and we're going to integrate with banks from the first as the first step, right? Because banks is the biggest business right now. And then, you know, we are building a platform which is API open. So anybody who is a developer can come up, take our data, and write up a connector. He can come up with a code and create another programs. He can create a code or connector in between our data and the data of his own bank in Lithuania. I don't know. So it's not we personally as a platform who is going to be doing it. It's the people who are from other countries will be using our API open code and creating those connectors and getting money, getting commissions out of it. So this is how we are in general going and thinking to grow this business.
Awesome. Okay, I want to ask you some sort of a question that's going to make you think. And this is tricky stuff. I found that this is tricky stuff to ask questions which are really challenging. Okay, but like you're a person. Like, first of all, I'm going to describe a little bit of my impression of you. Right? It's very hard nowadays for people to impress me. Okay, I'm kind of quite a sort of like flatliner in terms of emotionally, and I've worked very hard to kind of calm down. Okay, as like naturally I'm very sort of outgoing person who, you know, just talks a lot, a bit like you know, so I've worked very intensely on actually calming down so that I can listen more. Yeah, but the question is, who are you?
What do you mean?
Who are you?
I'm an entrepreneur. Well, I have a gazillion of hats, right? I'm a mother of 2 small kids. One is 7, another one is 9. I'm a woman. I'm a loved woman. I'm a partner. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner. I'm a communicator. I have my own podcast, so I'm a host. Like, right, I have more than 1.5 million listens of my podcast. So I'm a host of the show, right? I'm a marketer. I'm a PR at some point, right? I'm a brand, like in Russia, I'm a brand. So what do you want else to hear?
That's amazing. I really appreciate that answer, because I think this is where a lot of people struggle to step into their authenticity, right? Because you say like, just be authentic. Right. And to you and I, that's relatively obvious and understood what that means. But I think a lot of people actually struggle to even understand what that means. So like, tell us, right, educate us, what does it mean to be authentic?
Well, once again, it is, as you actually said, and as you correctly pointed out, it's too many of us right now. It's freaking crowded, right? Everybody wants to build up his personal brand. Everybody knows, well, smart people, at least educated people, knows what storytelling is. Everybody knows that you have to talk about your business in order to get more clients. So, plus we have such social networks like, I don't know, Instagram, where you are basically all glamoured, right? Like everybody has these nice pictures where you're like on Maserati, I don't know, and in London, and you are such a good person with 2, I don't know, cute kids who are not eating bullshit and not noisy and very well behaved, right?
Designer kids.
Yes, exactly. So, and then you're kind of turning out to your kids, your own kids, and thinking, wow, what's the fuck? Like, why everybody's so kind of good and perfect, and I'm not that perfect, right? And so that's a trend right now, right? You have to be yourself, first of all. Like, person has troubles and person have fuck ups, right? And person has some, I don't know, situations and issues and pains and I don't know, all kind of stuff. And everybody has it. There is nobody in the world who doesn't have it. You agree, right? So you just have to kind of open up a little. Like, this is me. This is my issues. I'm good at this and I'm bad at this, you know, and I share it with the world. This is how I see it. And like, when you do something wrong, even especially like when you are at the startup, like when you are in the business which just starting out, it's a lot of mistakes at this point are done, right? Lots of mistakes. And you have many clients who are unhappy or unsatisfied or who are complaining. And it's not because you've been such a bad person who wanted, you know, to make your clients unhappy, but it's maybe because of the growth issues, right? Or maybe because it's not systemized enough, or maybe because, I don't know, you're a bad employee. And so as an entrepreneur, as an owner, you have to kind of open up and say, guys, this is what happened. I understand that it's been done wrong, but this has happened. This is the reason why it happened. I apologize, and I hope that it won't be happening again. Like this, for example, right? And other people are reading and thinking, well, I'm having the same fuck-ups in my life, right? My company doing the same mistakes. So why wouldn't I trust her, right? I trust her because she's natural or she's real. So that's the point. Just be yourself. I don't even know what to say anymore.
Okay, so look, my company is called Integral, and the word integral comes from spiral dynamics model of evolution of human consciousness, which there's 8 levels. So that's instinctive, magic, power or ego, rule, role, rational, sensitive, integral, and holistic. Okay, and people who are integral thinkers, they're thinking on a planetary level. So we're all sharing a same story because we're living on the same planet. And the holistic people are interplanetary thinkers, so cosmocentric. And there is one level above holistic, which is unified self, where it's like a totally self-actualized person, like oneness with God and omnipotence and so on. So, and our mission is one of redesigning humanity. Okay, so we're like now shooting for these kind of humongous ideas. Okay, and our customers and clients are governments. You know, government to UK, we're helping redesign policy at UK government. Now you could say, well, government is irrelevant, but somebody has to make it irrelevant first. You know, we're working on these super complicated global tasks. Okay,
Initiatives.
Yes, and we not just believe that we can do this, we are doing this, and we know that we are the leaders we've been waiting for. Right? There is nobody else that's going to come to lead us. We are the ones. Okay. So as a leader, you know, I like, as soon as I met you, I have this ability nowadays to, like, within 1-2 minutes kind of suss out whether a person is full of shit or whether they're congruent to themselves, right, and authentic. And I'm like, okay, you're in, right? If I make that decision, you're in my network. Okay. So as a leader that we've all been waiting for, that you are, okay, tell us what the world needs the most. 5 things that the world needs the most right now.
So first of all, thank you. I'm very flattered. Second of all, I would like to translate. This is what I always do. So your organization is basically, if we take out all those complicated words, your organization is basically trying to make this world better, right?
Totally.
So that's the point. That's like the goal of your organization. And you are asking me right now what this world is.
But just to clarify, we're not trying. We don't ever use the word trying. We are doing it. We are it.
Well, the first thing is, of course, trust, right? That's what we were talking about at the beginning a lot, that people need to trust each other more. And in order to this trust to be happening, we need to open up more, right? We kind of need to create as you are working to create organizations, and we need to create environments, right, where people can open up, right? Let's say I can provide you, for example, my own example, where I created this group, as I told you, like the biggest group on Facebook, where we have more than 80,000 participants right now. Nobody actually believed it in 3 years ago. Everybody was like, why would I be on this group? Why would I share my knowledges and my skills with somebody who actually kind of, I don't even know? And I always believed in that. I always trust people. Like, that's my presumption. I think that people in general are very good inside of them, and they are liking to help each other. It's innate, right? Like, we are kind of created, designed, as in per your words, right, to help each other. And so, first of all, we need to create that trust. There is an environment right now. If you go to that group, you see that there is a trust. You see, like, you go to the group, you see tons and tons and tons of different posts where people trust each other. They tell each other about their problems, and they help each other. So you see, we created that environment where people can see that there is trust. I can trust this environment. I can trust this group. I can come up, get out, and kind of talk about my problems or whatever successes or my issues. So first of all, we need to create environments where trust is possible. So I kind of, as I already told you, have done a little bit on my side. I don't know what you are doing on your side. You said you are doing that. What do you do?
So I mean, I'm speaking like the place where we met, the after party. I was one of the speakers there, so I was speaking about exactly the stuff that I'm speaking to you about. I'm speaking in April this year. I'm speaking at Tony Robbins conference.
Oh my God, I love Tony Robbins. Oh my God, it's like God, you know.
So for me, the way I look at these things is like, for example, you say you love Tony Robbins. The way we look at Tony Robbins is like somebody who is the base level person, and we are to operate above here, you know, use his teachings and say, how can we now push upwards and forwards from there? Rather than go, oh my God, it's Tony Robbins, yeah, and sort of look up to him. We're almost not like looking down on him, but we're standing on his shoulders and building up from there, because there's a lot more to do.
Yeah, I agree. So what are you going to talk about on that? On what event are you going to be?
So I've been talking about blockchain revolution, and I've been talking about investable blockchain startups, and I talk a lot about design thinking and consciousness. My personal mission is to raise world's consciousness, and then the mission of the company is to redesign humanity, because what we've worked out is that for people to be able to fully impact on the world, the first person they need to be able to change is themselves and upgrade. Yeah, and redesign. So we have a program called Fresh Mind, which is about complete self-redesign, a little bit like what, you know, and we talk about these people in terms of, you know, somebody who we don't quite like, we call them our friend. Somebody we do like but haven't met is our good friend. And somebody who we do like and have met is our very good friend. So we build up on the basis and teachings of our very good friends, and help people redesign their best selves to step into their authenticity and their perfection, okay, and then be able to operate from that as the base layer from which they can lead, influence, redesign the rest of humanity, okay. So and for those people who already kind of get it, like yourself, you know, for us, it's super important to be able to be in your network and have you in our network as well, because in this spirit of blockchain, we are all, what I wrote today on my Facebook post, collaboratively sovereign.
Again, complicated world. What is this collaborative sovereignty?
Collaboratively, sovereignty is the idea of independent self. Okay, so the only sovereign, quote unquote, in UK is the Queen. Okay, nobody can mess with her, right? And blockchain gives us sovereignty because, you know, it's our money, our wallet. That's it. Nobody can touch it other than us. You know, it's only our permission. But then, you know, we can say, I'm independent. I don't need anybody else. You know, that's it. All I need is myself. But then you go, it's kind of boring like that, you know. I still
You
want to
can't live like
feel.
this. You're very social, yeah.
You can. I mean, some people do live like that. You know, gurus in India just sitting there meditating, and it's just like, you know, that's it. You just be in the Zen state. To me, that's boring, right? I want to communicate with people like yourself and have children and have, you know, wife and a cat and all this kind of stuff, right? So then you have to collaborate for that, right? This is a form of collaboration. So that's what it is, right? Blockchain is like collaborative sovereignty. Everyone's independent on their own, but we still want to collaborate and make bigger things happen.
So you see, that's why you kind of noticed me, because like on that after party, we talked, I don't know, really like 3 minutes or so, but we are on the same waves, right? We are pretty much talking about the same changes which are needed in this world. Maybe we are working with the different types of people, or with a different niche, or with the different industries. But right now we kind of emerged in this blockchain, which actually is terrifically amazing things in terms of possibilities, right? Like since I was kind of ignorant of this topic for about a year or so, and I was thinking, like everybody else, I was thinking, well, something is going on there. Nobody knows. Like, I'm with my entrepreneurs. Like, I have real problems to solve. You know, what's about blockchain? Nobody needs it. But then, as I already told you, like, going back to your question, like, what this world is needed, my second answer would be, first one was trust, and second one was believing in themselves, or confidence, or like, as you said, right, possibility of doing something. And I see this problem every day in my community as well. And entrepreneurs, like, right now, they do not believe that they can get money from somebody who can help them out with their businesses, and they can leverage and make them bigger and make bigger impact. We're not talking about businesses as a money making, right? We're talking about businesses which are making bigger impact. And so in order to make that bigger impact, they need leverage, right? And in most cases, that leverage comes, unfortunately, as a source of that leverage is money, right? So they need something where to get them. And so we kind of took those two things, right? As I already told you, trust and confidence, right? Trust and kind of possibilities, which we want to provide them with the use of this great technology, which is called blockchain. We want to create this platform, and that's the way how I'm going to be doing it about it. So I hope, no, I'm not hope, as you said, I will do it like this way.
That's great. That's great. Like the words like trying and hope and things like that, just like weak words. Drop it and just go for it. What I like about you is you know, you said at the very beginning, it's like, I'm a very lovable person, you know, you will like me and all that kind of stuff. I love that, you know, just go straight up with truth, you know, and that's amazing. So, okay, so tell me, what is the world going to look like in 10 years time?
Can you please repeat that, because you dropped a bit?
What's the world going to look like in 10 years time? Make some predictions.
Oh, wow. You know, I'm not in the position to do a prediction. I love this moment, you know, like, and I can answer you this question, but I will say that it's not a good idea to make a prediction. Just have to live right now, live your life right now. So that's what I was kind of thinking, especially when you have kids, right? You have a kid, right? You have a child, right? Like, you kind of see that they grow so freaking fast, right? Like, they grow every day, and you're kind of getting off your life. If you're not doing it right now, right this second, if you're not living your life fully and the way how you want it, and do not change this world for better, and do not making any, like, some impact which is important for you, then, like, why are you living here? You are wasting your time. And so, in my personal opinion, you don't have to predict. I do believe that it's going to be the better place. You know, I'm doing it within my community, everything what I can do, right? I truly believe that entrepreneurs are the best people in the world. Seriously, we are the most vibrant ones. We are the risk takers. We are always following the trends, right? And I love this community, and I love those people, and I seriously want them to get better at what they're doing, to get more believing and confidence in themselves. And I believe that, like, we're going to get more entrepreneurs, and the world is going to be better.
So actually, the whole idea of redesigning humanity came from a blog post I wrote probably about a year and a bit ago, where I have a family section on my personal website, and I actually look at parenting as designing humanity.
It is true, right? Because without children, we do not have kind of material for reflection, right? We don't have that input to reflect upon,
But
right?
it's also, we don't have the future of humanity, right? Because, you know, people can speak all day long about, oh, there's too many people, like marriage is an old concept, blah de blah, you know, you don't have to have children and so on. It's like, yeah, like what are we leaving the world to? You know, birds and cats and cockroaches, you know, and also, like, why would you prevent yourself from experiencing life in full, which is ultimately about having children? You know, like, let's face it, and you don't really know who you are until you see another person who's like 50% you, right? And you're like,
50% your partner.
and you're like, they're not quite like,
Wow.
they're not quite me, you know, they're not quite me. That's not what I was expecting. And then it's like, it's like, yeah, reconciling that. But
And then the other insight is to understand that they do not have to be like you, right?
yeah,
That they're
exactly. And then you have to sort of let go of that and go like, yeah, this is really super like mind-bending kind of concept. And whatever you thought your children were going to be like, you know, before parenting, it's like, it just doesn't really work out that way, because that's how it's made. Yeah. So this is where I was asking you not so much to predict, but to intention cast. Okay, intention casting is saying, like, what is it that you want to see in the world in next 10 years?
Oh my God. Well, I'm a woman, you know, and I can say that all what I want is a peace. You know, I want less wars, unfortunately, even if it's primitive, right? I seriously want peace. I want less men who as the leaders and more women, because we are, I don't know, less aggressive and more about family, you know, and kind of those are my values. Those things I value, and that one, those things are very important for me. And so I would love to have more people who are more balanced and more reflective, as you said, right? Who are more conscious. That's the word you used. So they can lead this world better, right? Because if you are in balance with yourself, if you understand yourself, if you're confident, if you have trust, if you understand that there is a world which is full of possibilities, then you can lead with others better. And then gradually this world will get better. And so that's why we are building the platform, and that's why it's kind of my contribution into that dream.
Okay, that's amazing. And so, okay, last question, because we're coming up to the hour. Last question, as this series is turning out to be a little bit about notionally women in blockchain, because here in UK there's still this thing around, you know, women in business, women in blockchain, women in tech, women in AI, women in this, women in that. Like, I don't particularly like that sort of delineation, because I just see it all as humanity. We're all you know, we're all human. But for specifically women in blockchain or women in tech, what is your message to that sort of 51% of the world, or whatever the percentage is?
Well, I just wrote a post today in the morning about unfortunately, about the discrimination of women in this area at this point, right? Because before meeting with you in London, I kind of have done a roadshow. I went to 4 different countries, and I kind of visited 9 different conferences in 10 days. Like I went to Singapore, and then I went to Zurich, and then in London, in Moscow. So I was kind of going through, and it was kind of my investigation on what's going on in this world, right? To understand what's happening, and in order to create my own strategy. And what I saw is that it's unbelievably, it's pity, it's kind of very, very badly amount of women in this area is very small at this point, right? If you see women in a hall, right, in a conference, most of them, like, I don't know, 90% of them are in PR or marketing, or maybe legal. That's where they stand right now in this world. It's almost zero or almost none of the women who are co-founders or founders or in techno field. And it's I mean, I can cry about it, seriously. It's very pity, and it has to be changed, you know. And I'm the one who's going to be, as I already told you, because I have this ability, I can stand up and say, okay, guys, I do not understand this right now, but I'm smart enough, and I'm, I don't know, persistent enough, and I'm frank enough to say that I do not understand about this now, but I will. So I'm going to be the first, or whatever, among the first woman who will kind of start this movement, because I truly believe that there is no difference. You probably know, right, that there are tons of research right now which kind of proves that women can be great developers, and like they can be the same level or even better, because they're very attentive, and they can be in techno spaces at the same level as men. The only problem is that culturally we've been raised in a different I don't know, minds, right? Like in Russia, for instance, girls are kind of growing up differently. Parents are talking with the girls differently than with the men. And so we are kind of used to this idea that girls are not good with tech, and it's not in our, I don't know, capacity to understand it. But it's just psychological thing. It's just social cultural thing. And so I truly believe that it's going to be changed, and it should be changed, and women can be amongst of those ones. So let's just start this movement. Thank you for bringing me here, and thank you for letting me open up my mouth and talk whatever I see and whatever I vision, and kind of spread my idea into the world.
Yeah, and I've always found it to be the case that, like, I was a web developer for, like, in the beginning of my career, and it was like 90% men, right? And they just kind of like, men suffer, or boys really, and like they all suffer from the same kind of issues, right? They all have same kind of shadow side. And then I moved into user experience design, and it was a little bit more mixed, but not quite enough. And now it's like back into sort of blockchain, and it's like, oh, it's even more, man. It's like, God, it's like, I don't want to go back there, right? So
you want girls around you, got it. So that's why you kind of know.
we got to mix it up, and a lot of people talk about it, and it's like, let's not. Well, okay, even though this is just a conversation, but like, let's not talk about, let's actually put out more women into the space and make them more as visible as possible. And, you know, I really do, it's not hope. I know it's going to be much more balanced, because we'll make it happen. Yeah.
I agree. When are you going to be talking on which event for Tony Robbins? Because I'm going for his business mastery in June. So I'm thinking maybe we'll meet over there.
So no, this is in April. This is Unleash the Power Within event, which is 3 days, and they're going to
It's 4 days. I've been there twice.
Yeah. So there's, I think that somehow they're blending in a little bit of blockchain and cryptocurrency stuff into this, I think, in one of the days and so on. I think that's the plan anyway, but it's going to be interesting to see what's happening. So listen, whenever you come to London, you're always welcome, you know, and let us know, keep in touch, and, you know, consider yourself part of the integral community, and, you know, whatever we can help you with, just, you know, DM on Facebook, and we're more than happy to help. Okay. Thank you so much for participating. All the best. Have a beautiful evening and weekend. All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Ciao, ciao.